Okay. Hey, everybody. So welcome to, it's supposed to play some music and stuff. I don't know why it's doing this. Okay. So, hey, everybody, thanks so much. Hold on, let me come back to, I don't know what we're doing. Hey, if you're listening right now, thank you so much for your patience. We are here. For some reason, we can't see you, or you can't see us, but that's okay. We're going to get rid of this over here. Remove the video. Here we go. Hey, everybody. Hey, thanks so much for your patience. As Grant was saying, as I was restarting my computer again, the joys of live streaming.
Absolutely.
So, hey, everybody.
It's nice to be on this end.
Exactly. A lot less stress.
Yes.
Oh, good. Okay. Finally, we've got some people already commenting. So, hey, official intro. Would you like to live a more awesome life? I mean, hey, who wouldn't, right? I'm hypnotist Jim Kellner, and each episode I explore tips, tricks, and strategies to help you and me to live a more awesome life. And so I invite guests like my super awesome guest that I'm having on today. And I'm going to say awesome a lot, and I'll tell you why in just a moment. So joining me today is really just a fantastic guy. He's a hypnotist in the United Kingdom, comedy stage hypnotist, hypnotherapist, hypnosis trainer, Amazon Live guy, podcast producer, you name it, he's doing it. Everybody, please give it up for my British bestie, Grant Saunders. Wait, there's supposed to be, where'd that go now? There's supposed to be some, all right, there was supposed to be some cheering. Everybody cheered at home, right? Yeah, okay. Hey, Natasha's watching. Thanks,
I heard
Natasha.
cheering. Yeah.
Okay,
Natasha
good.
was
Yeah.
cheering. Darren's cheering, hopefully.
Darren, excellent. He's going, what the hell? You see how easy it is, folks? How easy it is to get started. You just click a couple buttons and there you go. I am pretty, aside from the hassles with this, I'm loving this new platform that I'm using. It's wave.video. It's a lot of cool features that I can't figure out how to work yet. I guess it worked yesterday. I don't know. Anyway, so, hey, we're going to put all that behind us. We're going to focus on the man, the myth, the legend, in both our minds, I'm sure, and Natasha's as well. Grant, how are you today?
I'm really good. Today is a good day. It is nice and sunny here in the UK. And you know what? There's something about when the sun is out, no matter how warm it is, when the sun is out, the colours are brighter, everything feels awesome.
I agree completely. It is awesome.
It's awesome.
I'm here in Seattle, and I think our weather is very similar to the United Kingdom, or at least England. I don't know. I get you all confused. You got all these names. I think you get some personality disorder, the UK and the British anyway. But yeah, I agree. You know, when I can see the sun, it really just brightens me up, and I feel a lot better. All that good stuff. So, hey, everybody down there, if you're in the comments there, hey, Becca, we just met Becca last Friday. First time she found me on my Friday Night Lives. So go check those out, everybody. Friday Night Lives. Becca, thanks for joining us. Natasha, of course. Darren, good to see you. We've got somebody new also. Oh, Luke Fisher. A lovely day in Castle Hill.
Yeah, Luke Fisher is an awesome guy. And when we talk about awesome, I mean, Luke, I'm not going to tell your story for you, but briefly, kind of got made redundant at the beginning of the pandemic and then followed his passion. He is now a FPV drone pilot. This guy, search him out on YouTube. He flies drones through the windows of luxury vehicles. Absolutely. Cool. This guy's one of the best drone pilots out there. I think his name is the Flying Fox, even though I nicknamed him the Flying Squirrel, or the Duchess.
Great, Luke. I'm gonna look up at your stuff. Hey, feel free to drop a link down below, Luke, so everybody who's watching can go look at your stuff. Love to see your stuff. You know, you mentioned the start of the pandemic, and I'm gonna circle back around to that because Grant started something at the start of the pandemic, which really, I mean, it was a really fantastic project that he started working on, and we're all of us stage hypnotists are really grateful for what he's done. But first of all, let me leave you hanging. I want to let everybody know what we're doing today. Of course, we're going to be doing friend or frenemy, everyone's favorite game show a little bit later. I'm hoping, I'm praying. We're still friends, but we don't know. We're also going to find out Grant's top 3 tips for living a more awesome life. Awesome. And I'm also going to borrow a couple of things from his show. He's got a few shows, but the show I'm talking about right now is called Funny Bits with Grant. Is that the name? Right.
That's it. Yep.
Yeah. Funny Bits with Grant. Go check those out. They're on YouTube. Maybe Natasha could post a link down. I didn't even think about it, but maybe if Natasha's got a second, she could post a link down to those episodes. It is on YouTube, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. The episodes. I tried to find them on Facebook, but I only found a few. I didn't think to.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird how the different platforms have the kind of the different. Like for me, Facebook is short form. It's today, tomorrow, this week. YouTube is next month, next year, the years after that. So yeah, everything makes its way over to YouTube eventually. And then haunts you forever.
Yeah, exactly. It does. If you're creating content, you really got to get it over on like YouTube and stuff because, I mean, like you said, I mean, people are, I mean, I was on a mission to find, funny bits, and I had trouble. I can only find a few. So if somebody's just casually looking, they're not going to find these kind of things. So you really do have to, that's why we're broadcasting all over the place right now. You'll definitely find it on YouTube. Grant, tell us your story. You've interviewed a lot of stage hypnotists, but we want to know Grant's story. Can you tell us your origin story, your hero's journey?
As in for the live streaming journey, from the very beginning?
Your life from the very beginning. Day one, you popped out of the womb and you were awesome. Or
exactly how it came out.
Oh, I need a good sound effect.
It's weird. I mean, I was a cesarean, and I was always told by my mother at the time that I always had to make a grand entrance and had to be dramatic. And so it was a weird one for me because I was exposed to hypnosis from a very early age. Swore I'd never go into the therapy side of things because it just you know what therapists are like. There's all kind of dream catchers and whale mating music and that stuff, and I wanted to go away from that.
Don't forget the crystals.
I love a crystal. Love a crystal. There's a great. I will go off on a thing. There's a great meme that I shared the other day, and it was Jeremy Clarkson, who was a UK TV presenter, and he did a great video, and it says me when the date that I take out gets out her crystals and starts talking about like noontime, and he just jumped out of his car. So as a young male, kind of finding my way and finding out where I was, kind of like that whole, as you do as a teenager, that whole masculinity thing. I turned my back on all the woo-woo stuff and I wanted to be a businessman. And then it kind of, life took a bit of a strange turn. My father passed and life went from being very good and a kind of an affluent beginning to very good. Pre-teen, teenage years were really difficult. Left home at a very early age. I think I left home at 14. Ended up kind of, very much. I mean, I don't talk a lot about my past, but ended up homeless, self-medicating, all sorts of things that you do. But then within that process, kind of found my way back to the hypnosis and how the power of the mind can influence things. And then went on to set a few goals, ended up using the techniques that I'd learned about hypnosis in order to better myself and in order to be more successful in business. Ended up with 2 nightclubs. And here's the weird thing. When you were young and you set a goal and you spend all your time working towards that goal, something weird happens when you reach the goal. And for me, I wanted to have a nightclub by the time I was 30. I hit it before that age. And the problem I had is I had no more goals. And that leaves you in a really dark place and ended up self-medicating and all sorts of things. And going back to the hypnosis again to help with that. And then since that moment forward, it's been everything, morning, noon and night, living, breathing hypnosis. I absolutely love how everything that we think or feel is just a perception. Whether I always say I'm always 2 events from either the most amazing, awesome life ever or an absolutely tremendous mental breakdown. And it's just those thoughts and how you see that. And, you can look at your life and go, oh, woe is me. All of these things have happened in my past, my childhood trauma. Or you can use that as a motivator in order to go, do you know what? If I can forge through those fires and that steel, then I can achieve anything. And then I've been very lucky by working very hard for a long time to do what I do. And I think, I mean, you're the same. You know, we're grafters. We've been there. We've done the work. We've put in that hours and hours and repetition. And then people look and go, "Oh, you've been lucky. That's why you're successful." And it's like, no,
Right.
I've worked incredibly hard to be where I am. So yeah, that's the short and abridged version.
The short version. I love that, man. Almost at 14. We got to dive into more of that. Can you tell us more for everyone that listening that maybe they're having a rough day or a rough life? Tell us what you mean by those 2 thoughts away.
I think weirdly, and I think the easiest way to describe it is that, like, sometimes for me, like soundtracks, songs that I play in the car, I can be just finish the show, come off stage, standing ovation, happens all the time. Get in the car, start to drive home, song comes on the radio, and mood has changed completely. And it can take me down that rabbit hole. And I think that's the same anywhere we are in life. Those 2 thoughts can take us for, how am I going to cope under all of this pressure? Or, this is amazing. And I think it's those 2 thoughts about being, you know, is it going to drag me down? Am I going to start that spiral down into a dark place of self-pity? Or am I going to use that process to think better, think clearly, and how I can use this obstacle as a challenge to leverage me forward? But yeah, I think a lot of us are, especially performers, you know, we do live our life close to the edge. And for me, it's a great place to be. But when you are close to the edge, sometimes it can be a roller coaster. So yeah, 2 thoughts away from, awesomeness or craziness.
Right. So let me address this real quick. So Grant and I had been Facebook friends for a long time. And then we finally met at the HypnoBiz New York in person, hit it off right away. Went and had burgers and all that good stuff. And one of the first things he said, well, I don't remember how it came up, but all of a sudden he just goes, yeah, one of the things that's weird about America is everybody's saying awesome all the time.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Everything is awesome.
I was like, oh, you're not going to like me, buddy.
It's so annoying that it's become part of my vocabulary now, and I blame you for that, Jim. But yeah, I also think as Americans, you're more open to the idea of therapy. You know, in the UK, we're getting around to it a little bit, but in America, I do think Americans do have more confidence, that they are more self-aware sometimes. Whereas Brits, we have that stiff upper lip. We are martyrs. We will soldier through. And again, it's a very negative thing that English people do, especially, is we don't want to put our head above the parapet. We don't want to go, look at me, look how amazing I am, because we're seen as that being a negative thing, whereas in reality, it's a positive thing. Do you want to hear an interesting story about it?
Yeah.
It's the story of Icarus, you know, who flew too close to the sun. Have you heard the story of this?
I have. The story goes. Tell everybody. Yeah. I'm gonna post the name in case people want to look it up. It's
the story goes, or the story that we're told about Icarus is Icarus and his father were trapped, and his father made him some wings and stuck them together with wax so that they could fly away from there. And the story that we're told is he was told not to fly too close to the sun, because if you fly too high, the sun will melt the wax and the feathers will fall off and you'll crash and die. And that's what happened. He didn't listen to his father. He decided to fly too high, too close to the sun, and he died. The reality is that story was actually changed in I think it was the 1800s. The reality is the story was Icarus's father told him not to fly too low, to actually aim higher, because the mist and the salt from the sea would dissolve the wax and he would die. But it was changed. Really, exactly. That's what I'm saying. It was changed because it was deemed better to teach poor people and the working class not to aim too high, because it was done to control people, to keep them flying low, because it's safer. And a lot of us are brought up that way. Don't sit your head above the parapet. Don't look at me. Don't try and be special. Just get your head down and graft. So yeah, it's interesting, because when you realize, and for me, for years, I always stepped back I didn't want to be center of attention. But as long as you do it with authenticity and to try and deliver value, then it's one of the biggest keys to success in an awesome life. To kind of go, this is me, you know, warts and all, this is me. Step forward and live in your true, authentic, amazing place. Fly to that sun.
Truly. I mean, that is such a fantastic. Nope. Okay. Still no applause. Okay. Sorry.
Story of my life. I can always hear it in my ears.
He didn't even know there was no applause. He was like, "Yeah,
I didn't even know it. Yeah, I always hear applause wherever I go."
You know what's funny, Grant? Because and I'm sure you've had this too. You know, people will come up to me and they will say, "Oh, I could never do that because you know I could never put myself out there in front of people." And I've had people go, "Oh, you must have been the class clown." You know, you must, and I wasn't. I personally, I was not. I was terrible. I didn't want anybody to see me. I was trying to hide, and I was kind of taught from a young age to not show off and know your place and all these kind of things. And like you said, I mean, that's not going to benefit you in the world, and it's not going to benefit anybody else, really.
No. It's that whole, and this is gonna make me sound terrible. I once had a job for 2 weeks, and I'm quite fortunate that. You know, it was, you know, I'd come out of the club. Yeah, I know. I come out of the club and I didn't want any responsibility. I don't want to be self-employed anymore. I was going to have a job. And the first 10 days of those 2 weeks was training. And it was all about being a small cog in a big machine. You may only be a small cog, but you make a big difference. And at the end of it, I've gone, all you're doing is programming me to say this job is insignificant. You'll feel no value from it whatsoever. So I think on day 14, I just walked out.
Yeah, and you know it's because I've had that feeling too, and I think probably it's funny because I have this young man, especially I think of him often. He's just 17 and he's got all these dreams and ideas, trying to build apps and websites and all this stuff, and he's like, "Oh, do you ever feel like giving up?" And I go, "Are you kidding me?" All the time. I think it gets less over time, but in the beginning, especially, I remember. I mean, and I would even take jobs. I'd go, "Okay, I need to just go take a job for a while." Like you said, you work for a few weeks. And you start going, God, all I'm doing really is I'm building someone else's business. What I could be spending this time building my own business.
Yeah.
And You want to say something?
And it's that, and it sounds terrible. There's nothing wrong with jobs. If you're that type of person, you want to have a job, but there's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. But it's like jobs are, how much money can I give you to not live your authentic life? You know,
exactly.
what brings you joy? You know, the pandemic taught me that I used to have more money. I used to have a ridiculous lifestyle, but I was filling a hole inside myself with material things. I still like material things, and there's nothing wrong with that. Attitude of paid money particularly want in order to make us feel good about this terrible job. But ideally, spend less, have less of these commitments, less stuff on finance, and actually do what you enjoy, do what you love. At the end of the day, this isn't a dress rehearsal. There is no whatever you believe in, but there is no next time. There's no next life. Your life is this moment right now. And how amazing would it be to actually wake up in the morning full of energy and passion to do what you enjoy?
I agree completely. Let's give a shout out to Jason, to Jeff. And hey, if you guys, if anybody has any questions, be sure and post them down below. I couldn't agree more. And I tell you, so you talked about something interesting, and I mean, we're both kind of about empowering people to do what they want to do with their life. And I'm sure you feel the same way. If you are happy at a job and that's what you like, please do it. I'm not saying anything different, but there are some people out there, and you know who you are. You feel something in you. You're just not going. You're never going to be satisfied there. It's never going to do that thing for you. And it doesn't mean you have to launch. I have a great story. I got an email from, or a comment on a Facebook post one time about living your dream. And I had a friend. He loved being a chef. He was like, "Man, I love being a chef. It is my favorite thing. I want to. That's what I want to do with my life." Yeah. And
I just got told I keep freezing.
You got what? All right. Joys of live again. We'll edit that out.
Joys of live, yeah.
There
you go. Stay with me.
And so, he told me, he goes, but I couldn't, he goes, but the hours were terrible. I didn't make that much money. He goes, I sell insurance now because it allows me to work 8 to 5. I spend more time with my family. I have more money, more security, all these things. So if that's your trade-off, that's fine. And it sucks that is a trade-off. But if that's what you have to do, that's fine. But there are some people out there, you really have to, let's get rid of this, Grant. Remove guest. All right. Can you hear me? Yeah.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay. I see.
Icarus.
You had to plug in.
Icarus chopping into our internet.
So yeah, if to live a better life, you do need to work a regular job. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you're one of those people that has something within you, and you got to live that dream, or you're going to get to the old age and you're going to go, God, I wish I would have. And at least if you're out there doing what Grant or I are doing, at least you get to the end and you go, hey, at least I tried.
Yeah.
There you go.
And that, do you know what? That's it. It's not about achieving that absolute goal, because I think Matthew McConaughey does a whole thing of, my mentor is me in 10 years time. When that goal evolves with you, you're never going to reach it. I'm never going to be the perfect version of Grant, but I'm always going to be working on it. And it's an evolution every day, every week, every month. That's a work in progress. But it's about not delaying those things that bring you joy. It's not going, do you know what? I'll wait until I'm 50 before I retire and then I can do the things that I enjoy. I'm going to wait until I get the promotion at work and then I can do these things. It's about, doing something every day that brings you joy, doing something every day that scares you a little bit, doing something every day that makes you a better person to the world around you.
And I love what you said there too, because, one of the things that I both love and hate about the kind of work that we do, whether it's speaking or doing a comedy hypnosis show. And I don't know how you feel about this, but oftentimes, I'm driving to a show going, God, I hope they cancel. I don't want to, I'm like, oh, why am I doing this to myself? Is there going to be enough people there? Is everyone going to be a great subject? Am I going to be funny? And I'm going, why? I don't have to put myself through this. Why are you doing this? You could go get a job. You don't have to do this. But the reward is so magnificent afterwards that you kind of forget that.
Yes. And that's the thing. It's doing something that scares you. I mean, we both know we've had good shows, bad shows, all of these things. And I think especially in the work that we're in, the personal development world, there's a big movement of everything is sunshine and rainbows and wonderful.
Right.
And the reality is life isn't like that. Life gives you obstacles and challenges in order to build those reps and build that muscle. You don't build muscle by lifting light weights. You build muscle by lifting heavy weights. Life gives you heavy weights to lift, to make you a stronger person, to make you a better person, to help you grow. So when we do that whole everything's wonderful, just think positive, just think everything's wonderful, you've got to sometimes embrace those challenges, embrace that darkness. But also you've got to know and listen to your intuition. How bizarre is this? Going down to London on Friday, I actually had an inquiry for a show that went, hi guys, I'm coming over from Switzerland. We've got big money for this corporate thing. Will you come and do the show whilst you're in London? And I'm like, that's amazing. Did a bit more inquiry. It's 8 guys from Switzerland here on a stag weekend, want a 1-hour hypnosis experience. And I've gone, I'm busy, but I'll give you the number of somebody else.
Oh yeah. I've had many of those.
I've rang up a good friend of mine. Hopefully he's not watching this. And I've gone, Mr. Hypnotist, I've got a fantastic job for you in London. Corporate, they've got loads of money. And it's just an afternoon gig. Will you take it? He's gone, absolutely. I went, brilliant. Here's his number. I don't want any commission. It's nothing to do with me. It's yours. Because I know whatever the money is, it's not worth my mental health to go through the challenge of 8 people on a stag party.
I've had that same experience. You're like, because you've done it before. Like I remember I did a birthday party one time for a group of folks, and like half of them, they were from a different country, and over half of them didn't speak English, and they hadn't seen each other in a long time. Yeah. So they wouldn't shut the hell up. I mean, and I kept telling him, I was like, hey, if you want to talk, please, could you go into another area or something? Nope, just blah, blah, blah. The host wouldn't stop him. And I
Yep.
was like, I will never do this again. I don't care how much you're paying me. People, nope, not going to do it. These are the
Yep.
things. I have a checklist, and it's, here's what sucks, Grant, is the woman actually gave me a bad review because I couldn't control the audience. And I'm like, I can't piss off your guests, right? What am I supposed to do? Go up and smack them?
Yeah. And that's it. We are, especially as stage hypnotists, as entertainment hypnotists. I mean, don't know, I love doing the mindset stuff. I'm
Yeah.
moving more into that a little bit now, just because there is no responsibility to make people laugh. I love that.
Exactly. Right.
In the pandemic, I wanted to be a faith healer because then I could just be like healed, and then it's not my fault, then it's Jesus's fault.
Right.
So there is that thing of, they say being a stand-up comedian is the loneliest job in the world, but the reality is as a stage hypnotist, not only do we have to be funny, we have to have the audience on side to want to take part in the show as well. So it does teach us a lot of transferable skills that are not just on stage, that transfer into our day-to-day life as well, where we are having to use our communication skills, our energy to kind of bring people on side for stuff. But yeah, it's weird. In the hypnosis world, a lot of people look at stage hypnotist or comedy hypnotist as almost on that kind of lower rung of the craft. Whereas the reality is, we're at the knife edge of it. We've got to make an induction work quickly. We've got to find rapport quickly. In a therapy room, you can go, oh, I don't think this is working. But what I'll do is I'll not push them too much. I'll just go, you're feeling very relaxed. You're feeling very relaxed. Your feet are very relaxed, and they go away kind of going, I don't know if I was hypnotized. On stage, if they're not hypnotized, everybody knows. So we've got to pull out the aces every time if we can.
It's so funny too, because this is one of the reasons that I teach like street hypnosis tactics, because I think then when you're a hypnotherapist, you really don't know the power of hypnosis. You really don't. You see stuff and you're going, I don't know if that's really legit or not for a lot of them. And then when you do it and you see somebody's hands in there and they're looking at you blank faced and they can't pull their hands apart, you go, oh wow, this stuff really does work. And it's amazing. And it's funny because we just had we did a meetup the other day, and I invited people to come out and do some street hypnosis. And one of the people in the group was like, why would you use hypnosis for stuff like that on the stage and having fun with it and all this? And it's a serious thing. And I'm like, well, there's so many reasons. There's so many reasons to use it for that. Teaching the power of it, getting the public to know about it. Hey, if it wasn't for stage hypnotists, nobody would know about hypnotherapists, okay? Because nobody's watching your boring video.
And it's weird because like comedy has this amazing way of bypassing a lot of filters. When you look at most of the political movements over the last 20, 30 years, at the forefront of that has been stand-up comedy. Comedians have a way of standing up on platforms and stages and making political statements and making movements happen. Dave Chappelle, very political at the moment. There's been lots of comedians over the years that bring their stand-up comedy and their politics and help stuff move forward. Stage hypnotists kind of do the same when it comes to mindset and teaching people the importance of the images you make in your mind. The words that you say to yourself have such a massive impact on your day-to-day life. It's probably one of the most important things. And why this is not taught in schools, no idea. It's ridiculous.
Well, I think maybe like what I mean. I think we maybe know why. If we want to get conspiratorial about it.
Exactly.
School is. Go ahead.
Go on. Teaching people to think freely is not in anybody's interest, I don't think.
The school is there to make you a good worker. That's what you got to show up on time. You got to finish the assignments just like everybody else. And it's not a bad thing if you're going to go work at the cog factory. It's a great thing to learn. Hey, Brian Bay, good friend of mine out here in Seattle area. There's something about making people laugh that just energizes you. It does, man. It really just wow. Yeah. I mean, after a good show, don't you just feel like a demigod? I mean, really, like you're just like, wow.
And again, one of the things I think that's great about our career path, and also one of the things that's also bad about it, is it is that roller coaster of emotions, the adrenaline, the chemicals that get released in your brain when you have a brilliant show. It's just unbelievable. You literally come off stage feeling like a rock star. And then the next night you can be on stage and it'd be the complete opposite. And it sends you all over the place. I've known some really great stage hypnotists that maybe 2 or 3 years into it, they go from being the world's best to just never wanting to go on stage again, because it just, the chemical imbalance, the way that it plays with your mind, you've got to be very careful of that. Like you said, you come off stage as a god, and then you've got a 3-hour drive home. And so you've got to find ways of managing your mood, managing your spirit, your energy, to keep all that in check as well, to stop that ego from taking over.
Yeah, when you drive home too, your spouse doesn't realize that you're a god, and they just want you to take out the trash. So
you're doing the hypnosis wrong.
You've had your spouse a lot longer. You've had more time to train the hypnosis. It's funny you talk about these good shows and bad shows, because Brian Bay was there for one of my worst shows ever. And this reminds me, I've been wanting to, it wasn't even the worst, but it was a pretty bad one. But I knew it was going to be bad. I know you shouldn't do this. You shouldn't slip those limiting beliefs, but I knew it was kind of like that stag party thing. I knew it was going to be awful. And fortunately, I brought 2 friends with me that want to be stage hypnotists with me to see it. And I was like, guys, this is going to be terrible, awful. I mean, really bad. And it was even worse than I expected. But the check cleared, so everything's fine. And I didn't send them a review link, so they didn't give me a review. So bad review. Which reminds me, I want to do a video about my worst show ever. And I'll throw out a challenge to all the stage hypnotists that are watching. Do a video about your worst show ever. Let people know that it's not always peaches and cream. It's not always. I think that's one of the things it's one of the things we talked about on the Grant Talks Funny Bits bit. We talk about those challenging shows, because especially in stage hypnosis, there's all these egos. Everyone's the world's best, world's fastest, world's quickest, world's most attractive, world's blah, blah, blah. Everyone's brilliant. But nobody talks about the problems that they have, the challenges, the weights that they've got to lift on stage. And I think that can be quite toxic, because in that environment, like the personal development side of things, people feel like, if I'm having these challenges, it must be me that's bad. And then rather than going into the forums and expressing their concerns and, I've had this bad show and it's like this, it then becomes quite insular. They're not open to it then. And so I think talking about the challenges, people can go, if that person can have a bad show and they're this amazing Vegas headliner, then actually that's the same experience that I've had. So it helps people to be more open, to kind of share that vulnerability as well, because especially as men, we do have this difficulty of expressing our vulnerability and our emotions. And that's something I struggled with the pandemic, kind of talking about my darkness as such. But the reality is there is a strength to that. There is a masculine energy to kind of going, this is my vulnerability. These are my weaknesses. This is where I think I can improve. So that's a hashtag He Too movement. Right. And I would love for that to happen. I think, unfortunately, and I've seen this, whether it's hypnotherapists or stage hypnotists, I remember James Sellis, he posted something about somebody kind of attacked him on stage. He's a stage hypnotist, he's an awesome guy, Zeles. Go look him up, everybody. He's fantastic, been doing it forever. And he, kind of posted something, like, hey, this is what happened. And then everybody's in there giving him advice. Well, I would have done this and I would have done that. And, and it was so frustrating to watch, because sometimes you just want to be heard. He didn't ask for any advice. What would you have done? He's just, and honest. And there was this one guy who I swear, I've never heard of him before. He's nobody. And he's put this big, long list of things that he would have done. And I'm just like, dude, you're a tool. Okay. You're an absolute tool.
I remember posting a few years ago now. And I always try to stay out of the Facebook groups, because there's a lot of armchair hypnotists and hypnotherapists that are very textbook and very, very knowledgeable, great keyboard warriors, great argumentators. So even an English word. Argumentators. You heard that here first. I'm English. I'm saying that's fine.
Exactly. Yes. It's the Queen's English. So it's
the Queen's English. That's exactly what she says. Really great online at doing those things. But the reality is I think at the time I'd been a stage hypnotist for about, I'd served my time. I'd been doing it a while, and someone was complaining, or someone was saying that their volunteers were getting headaches.
Mm.
I remember they were going on about these headaches, and everyone was saying it's because of this and the different type of immersion technique and the different because of this and other. And I've kind of commented, I've gone, I think you'll probably find if you give your volunteers like a glass of water or a bottle of water afterwards, you might find that solving your problem, because what you're getting is some overweight people, as we call them in England, fatties, or in America, I think they're heavy set.
Chubby, heavy set.
Chubby,
Yeah.
yeah. You got some heavy set people that don't do any type of cardio exercise whatsoever. And for an hour, they're on stage, they're
right.
racing horses, they're dancing around, they're doing all this stuff.
Right.
They're just dehydrated. That, you know, if your body is 5% dehydrated, you're going to start to get a headache. Give them some water after the show, fixes the problem. And then I had somebody, I'll not say who it is, you know, it's quite funny now, but I had someone coming there telling me how I absolutely knew nothing about hypnosis whatsoever. And I was like, oh, dude, just you do you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, fair enough. But again, it's that toxic environment of where everyone has to be the best rather than having an open forum.
Yeah. You know, when I'm in a hypnotherapy group, and we meet once a week, and one of the hypnotherapists, and she's like a huge name in this industry. She teaches all over the world, and she's just fantastic, a lovely person. And she had mentioned something that she had been going dealing with some depression, and it was immediately I remember this one guy especially. Oh, I just wanted to smack him. He's like, "Well, I never deal with that kind of a thing because I just do blah blah blah," and there was no empathy. There was no, "Wow, that's terrible." It was, "Oh, this is like we're the expert, and so we're gonna fix you." And I was so frustrating, so frustrating. And I messaged her later and said, "Hey, I'm sorry that there were a bunch of tools in there."
Yeah, it's weird because I actually went on a mindset coaching thing this week. A great guy in the UK that does the like mindset walks. So rather than a business coach where you sit down across the table and talk about stuff, it makes you walk for 3.5 hours up hills. But at the same time, you talk about anything and stuff comes out. Great concept. And he talks about the importance of light workers. He says, and there's two types of people that are attracted to this industry: those that see people's, and this is a bit woo-woo, those that see people's pain and weakness and want to heal them, and those that see people's pain and weakness and want to exploit it. And I think the hypnosis industry, unfortunately, we attract those types of people. Some people that are very woo-woo and very angelic and very easy to manipulate, and other people that do tend to prey on that type of thing.
Yeah, we've talked about some of those people that we see in the industry that not to mention any names, but some of the big trainers across the globe.
Mention names.
Yeah. We'll tell you the names later. Okay, come to our secret workshop.
Just one name. It'd be awesome.
Just one name. I won't do it.
Just one name. You think you should mention a name? Put it in the comment section.
I'm dropping it in the comments right now.
Yeah.
Go to my landing page. You have to sign up, and then I'll tell you the name. Sign up for a new membership course where I reveal all of the trainers who are full of crap.
It's what sells. I think someone said, was it the squeaky wheel gets the oil? And unfortunately, there's a lot of people that use drama and shouting noises, and this technique is the only technique that you need. Don't waste your money on that technique. And it's like, well, horses for courses.
I don't know what that means, but I kind of know what it means, but I don't know what it means.
Yeah.
Just by the way, it's the Queen's English, everyone.
It's the Queen's English.
Let me tell you. So Jason says, since COVID and not doing a show for so long, I've really enjoyed helping people in therapy. That's awesome. A lot of people turn to that. Fortunately, I was able to just kind of shift gears, and I'd already been doing hypnotherapy online, so I was able to just kind of plug that in. Did you do much therapy work during COVID? The
problem I had is before that, when I moved away from therapy, and therapy is brilliant, but I went from a club owner, so I had this ego, and I had a fear of public speaking. So the therapy stuff was okay, but as I started to do a show, I did my first show to get over my fear of public speaking, and it just tickled my ego. I'm like, hang on a minute, I get paid this much for doing this, and everyone gives me an applause and tells me I'm wonderful. I'm over my fear of public speaking. And then you kind of like, oh, Mrs. Smith, you're overweight, your husband doesn't touch you anymore, and you want to look like a model and still eat chocolate. And it's this much for a session. And it's like, for me at that time, it wasn't my priority. as I've gone along over the years, I would still see the odd kind of private client, but it wasn't my focus. And as a stage performer, again, ego, I was always like, I'm a performer. I just perform stage hypnosis. And I thought there was something, good about that. And again, the pandemic teaches you that actually, you've got to make sure from a business point of view to have those multiple income streams. I never used to push back of room because for me, back of room, I was above all that.
Right.
I'm not going to sell from the stage and stand there and
Right.
hawk my wares. I'm the star. The reality is, the pandemic goes, star or not, someone shared a meme and it was a welfare line. And at the front of the thing, there was the cashier or whatever has gone, I don't care if you're a headliner, you don't get any more money.
Oh, I'd love to see that one.
Exactly. And it probably hit home that it's about, I am a businessman first. I've got to generate multiple income streams in order to help me look after me first. And that's what we've got to do. I had this conversation with someone the other day. It's not about your family first. It's not about your kids, your dogs, your cats, your partner, any of that first. It starts with you. If you're knackered from working too hard, doing a job you don't enjoy, and you're stressed and all that, you're no good to anybody. You've got to do the things that you do to generate multiple income streams to look after you. And then when your cup is full, when that cup overflows, you can give that to the people you care around you. So you've got to look after you first. And that's what the pandemic taught me. So I'll do just about anything now.
All right. What's your OnlyFans account called?
Sign up to my OnlyFans, yeah.
Feet pics from Grant. I actually had someone had someone on Instagram ask me about feet pics. A guy, of course. It's never a female.
Yeah, it's I do get one of the things that I've gone through multiple transformations in my life, and I think it's important to keep doing that. And it's weird, like the Grant before the pandemic is a very, I'm still the same, but I'm just a bit more refined now. I've got the beard now. I had my teeth fixed during the pandemic. I look after myself more now. I stop eating crap because, again, I had a bit of a health scare, and nothing kind of puts your health or yourself in perspective like that. And again, it is about start with you and put that out there. But yeah, what that seems to have attracted is on Instagram is the wrong type of attention.
It's never some Maxim cover model or some Playboy model or something. It's some dude that looks a lot like me oftentimes. Like,
it's not even like a young attractive dude. It's always
exactly. Hey, wait a minute. Wait, what happened here? Damn, I'm pretty.
I absolutely love that damn I'm pretty stuff that you do. And the concept behind it and everything, it is about, you are the best version of you. So,
and people, if you're out there, and I need to do more work about this. It's not just a funny thing for me. I started saying it on stage when I was almost 300 pounds, and it's freaking hilarious, right? I mean, for some middle-aged bald dude that's almost 300 pounds to say, "Damn, I'm pretty," but after a while, I honestly started feeling it. And guys, it was weird because soon, like women, even that had never knew my act or anything, would start talking about how handsome I am and everything. I'm like, whoa, how'd this happen? Yeah. And it was crazy. So, I mean, affirmations really do work. And the great thing about that one is it's funny. So it really kind of bypasses that critical faculty also.
Yeah. And it's about confidence. I shared a thing on Instagram Reels earlier. And do you know what? It's weird because I share a lot of stuff on Instagram Reels, and people sometimes message me to kind of go, "Oh, that means that what you said there, that was brilliant," And other people go, "Grant, are you okay?" Here's the thing, I'll put it out there. If I share something on Instagram Reels, it just means I agree with it. It doesn't mean it's something I'm going through. So there's a lot of that. But one of them, it says, a lot of people mistake my arrogance. They mistake my confidence for arrogance, and it's not. It's that I've been through so much, that I'm proud of where I am now. And I put my stuff out there because that's an affirmation for me. You put it out there, you have that confidence, you have that belief in yourself. It doesn't matter about what anyone else thinks about you then.
And that's one of the Right. Well, and that is something, and it's hard to get. It's hard to get. I want to say something too. I love the fact that the way that I got over my fear of public speaking and really talking to anyone. I was very shy myself. I couldn't even talk to girls. I had to drink too much in high school just so I could get dates. And then you're drunk and nobody wants to talk to you anyway. But so it didn't work. But really, and so I know there's so many people out there that say, "Oh, I could never do that. I could never do that." Yeah, jump into the fire.
Yeah.
It hurts. There's a physical pain to it, that emotional fear. But once you get through it, oh, I would never go back. I am so grateful that I took those first steps onto stage, really.
And that therein lies the biggest key, the biggest clue to success. The life that you want is just beyond that pain. In every fairy tale that we're ever told, it's the gold is behind the dragon. The hero that goes in and slays the dragon gets the gold, gets the girl. That's where everything is. The thing that you're fearing to do right now, if you do that, the success is beyond that. And we all have stuff we know we should be doing. I'm the world's worst procrastinator. I'm terrible for it.
Me too.
Yeah, but it's if we do the things that scare us, life just gets easier.
It does. And one of the things that let me just say real quick, that's a great idea, Natasha. Tell people that they're drunk and had the best night ever. And for some street hypnosis, that sounds fun. So what's I going to say? What were we just talking about? Shoot, I shouldn't have lost my train of thought.
And you're back.
I'm so afraid now that, so we have, yeah, exactly. We have gotten to a place now where we, and believe me, I was bullied as a kid, and I think it's really important to protect kids, and I don't want to push anybody too hard when they're fearful of things, but I think we've gotten to a point where it's just kind of okay to just go, oh, I feel anxious, so I can't do blah blah blah. Where that you'll never get what you want that way. You will never ever. It doesn't magically go away. You can get some hypnotherapy that'll help you get through it, but you're gonna have to do it to get over it.
You've got to put in the reps. You've got to lift the weight. You can't just, the power of positive thinking works wonders, but you've got to take action. You've got to lift the weight. You've got to see those challenges in life. And the more challenges that you face, the more challenges that you overcome, the more skills that the more resources that you've got, it just helps you have a better life.
It does, yeah. And Brian says, you remember the drunks at the Seattle, at the Underground? Yes, that's exactly the show I'm talking about. At the Alibi Room. Oh my God, they were wasted before I even showed up. That's a good question. If you're a stage hypnotist, ask if they're big drinkers. If they're big drinkers, start your show early, or you're going to get screwed. And here's the thing too, with a show, it doesn't matter what else happens. You're the blame. You're always the blame. It doesn't matter what happened. Would the venue suck, the sound system suck, whatever, you're responsible.
I recently did a show for a wedding. It was one of our COVID weddings. It moved and moved and moved. And they had a fantastic lineup. They had a quite a famous drag act that was going to be performing all night doing a cabaret show. They had a photo booth, a DJ, me on. Everything was amazing. So when I've got there, I'm like, when we're performing, the show weren't performing, I'm like, all right. The DJ booth guy has gone, you're going to struggle, mate. He says, I actually work part-time as a stage hypnotist, and these guys are just too drunk. And I've gone, it's okay, mate. And then I spoke to, I know. And then I spoke to the organizer, and she's gone, oh, I hope you're good. I'm going, how do you mean? She went, oh, well, the drag act turned up, did one song, walked off. And I'm like, oh, interesting. So I'm like, all right, we'll start the show. Started the show, and it was a nightmare. Everybody was drunk. Everybody was high. Everybody was not interested in watching a stage hypnosis show. And normally at a wedding, you can kind of go, oh, it's what a wonderful wedding this is. You guys don't want to be the ones to spoil what a wonderful day it is. They did not care. They did not want to see a stage hypnosis show. And so it's times like that when you've got to kind of go, let's just call this a night. And we'll not send that review for the link.
Right.
Or the link for the review. We'll get in the car and we'll go. So but that teaches you can go away from that show by going, oh, woe is me, that was terrible. Nothing builds character than having an audience not like you, but you still dig your heels in and do your job, lift your weights, do your reps, and at the end of it, come off, get in the car, and have the confidence in your abilities to go, that wasn't my fault. and I don't care. I want to do a good show, don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
but I'm not going to let a bad show get into my head. You know, bad shows, let them go, move on to the next one, get back on stage as quickly as possible, because otherwise it
Absolutely.
just gets in your head.
I say have someone that you can call too. You know, I have from Bob Faith down in Arizona, and I can call him after a bad show. Bob had a bad show.
Yeah.
And he always the same thing. Did you live? Yes. Did you get paid? Yes. You'll wake up tomorrow.
Yeah. I think that is exactly what, doesn't matter what you do. If you're a carpenter, if you've got a small business, if you run a medium-sized business, whatever it is, if you're self-employed, if you're trying to run a business, when you have those bad days, those bad shows, those bad experiences with customers, to have someone that you can ring, a mentor, someone that's done what you've done, to unload that is what helps. It's when you keep it all inside, whatever it is you do in your business, that's when it starts to it goes inwards. It starts to rot on the inside. Then you've got to get it out. You've got to talk about it.
You do. Yeah. And again, you know, like we're talking about, like everybody fails, man. It's okay. You can fail. It's okay. You don't have to broadcast it on Facebook. You don't have to put it on your website, but you can talk to some of the more supportive members of the stage hypnosis community, and you probably know who the ones that you shouldn't talk to about it. But yeah, there's a lot of supportive folks out there.
Yeah. It was, if you want to succeed, you just need to fail more.
You do.
You know?
That's so.
Yeah, I've learned my biggest life lessons from my failures, and it's my toxic trait. I'm not afraid to just go for it and think, you know what? What's the worst that could happen?
Oh God, you know, I got to tell you, I'm the same way, man. I just jump right in, and and yeah, you know what? Sometimes it doesn't work, but I mean, I always, you know, and one of the things too is like I'll do too is like, you know, like Richard Branson says, if somebody gives you an opportunity, you don't know how to do it, say yes and then learn how to do it. I've had so many people, I've offered them opportunities, you know, for various things, and oh no, and I think, you know what, you're just blowing it, man. You're blowing it. Now, if somebody asked me to be brain surgery, of course, I'm not going to do that, but within reason.
Yeah, I was going to say, how difficult could it be? It's weird because there's a big movement at the moment. Yeah. There's a big movement at the moment, and I get it. And it's all about that knowing when to say no. You know, don't people please, know when to say no.
Right.
I agree with it on the people pleasing side of things, but I'm also a big believer in saying yes. Like, is it a new opportunity? Am I going to grow from this? Then yes, I'm going to do it. You know, does it scare me? Yes. Am I going to do it? Yes. Am I going to learn from it? Yes. Will it grow into something? It might not. It might just be nothing, but then it's a yes. One of the things from the pandemic is we talk about the live streaming thing. I never did any video before the pandemic. I'd have the odd video of show, but like this, like head to camera stuff, didn't do, because I didn't want to be seen as an expert in hypnosis. I just wanted to be in the trenches doing the shows. I'm not bothered about other stuff. The pandemic made me do this, you know, and in 2 years, you know, I live stream probably 5 times a week now. And because of that, that's opened up opportunities that if someone had said to me 2 years ago, Grant, you're going to be an influencer, I'm like, I'm not an influencer. I'm an old guy now. But now it's not that funny. So someone said I was 35 the other day, and I'm like, that's exactly how old I am.
Exactly. That's right.
That's exactly how old I am. You've got a gift. It's amazing. So, but to be doing live streams on Amazon and then get picked up by the software company that I use to live stream, and now I live stream to their audience, helping people to live stream. And you know, 2 years ago, I didn't even have a camera. And now that's that. But that would have never have happened if I'd have kind of gone, oh no, that's not what I do. The universe.
You know, I got to tell you.
Oh, go on.
The universe what?
The universe just has a way of kind of, when you open yourself up to it, the universe has a way of lining stuff up for you.
Do you have a little bit of time after an hour? Are you okay on time?
Yeah. I've got all the time in the world,
cool.
man.
Excellent. Good. Because we're going to run over today. I apologize, everybody, but this is some really good stuff. I try to keep it. Really, my goal is 30 minutes, but there's no way we're way over that. But 60 minutes is like the top end. But because there's a couple of things that you mentioned. I still want to circle back to funny bits. That whole journey there. That was really the goal of this talk. And but we've covered so much other stuff. A couple of things I wanted to just mention though. There's what Grant's talking about is there was a book, and I remember I bought this book at a garage sale or something. I never actually read it, but I love the title. It says, "Feel the fear and do it anyway."
Oh, absolutely.
It's not that we're not afraid. Believe me, I'm afraid a lot. Like when I'm doing street hypnosis, people are like, "Oh, how are you so smooth?" Oh, if you looked inside my brain, you'd see I'm not smooth. I'm going, "Oh shit, that didn't work. Crap." Oops, I specifically don't use curse words on here, but anyway, I go, it's $6,000. It's the Queen's English. So I'm constantly going, "Oh crap, that didn't work. What do I do next?" There's we're on stage, "Oh wow, this guy just slipped out of his chair." I mean, there's all kinds of things that you just have to move past it, really, guys. There's just use the skills that you have. Use the hypnosis, use the NLP, but it's still going to hurt some. It really is.
Yeah,
it just is.
Yeah, and it's. Justin Tran says it brilliantly as well. It's like, it's the stuff that, sometimes dare to do the stuff that's in the comic books. Don't forget the stuff that you've been taught. Once you learn how to do it, then try and be out the box. Try and do the wah, see what happens. Yeah. And sometimes you'll surprise yourself. And I think that's the thing with like the street stuff, why it's so important, is because you do stuff that you as a hypnotist go, wow, that actually worked. But beforehand, you are so scared, so nervous that it might happen. And you've got to, it's about having this face here so that the audience or the person you're hypnotizing has no idea that you're going, wow, that worked.
Exactly.
Wow. How was that for you? Absolutely. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, really? And that's where I mean, we've joked about certain techniques that people have earned six figures plus from certain techniques that I believe started as a joke. I think someone was drunk. I think someone was drunk and went, "Look at this," and they've gone, "Oh my God, that's hilarious!" And then they've gone, "I could turn that into a protocol," and someone else has gone, "You could make some money out of that." And they've then gone on to. But here's the thing: the therapeutic work that has come from that is real. The actual stuff from it is real, but I believe it might have started as a joke.
I think it had to have. It just had to have. Yeah. If you knew the one we're talking about, you'd know. We talked about it at HypnoBiz years ago.
Yeah. I think that's how our friendship started, actually.
Exactly. It's kind of that hesitation, do I want to say something? And then finally you kind of open that door a little bit and you're like, yes, I kindred spirit.
Sometimes I say stuff and I'm like, oh, why did you say that?
I know.
But I can't help it sometimes. I think it's fast. I mean, especially the industry that we're in. There's some amazing characters with such a diverse belief system as well. And that's what I love about the conferences. You can have a stage hypnotist and you can have a very we've just been through this, a very spiritual person, and they can have a conversation in two different realms, which was amazing. And there's something to be learned. There's something to be learned from both of them.
Absolutely.
I can see your face going, don't say a name. Don't say a name.
We'll be barred from the industry.
Yeah.
Although I can't be barred. I don't know if anyone heard, but I've been presented with an award for being the Stage Hypnotist of the Year.
Yes.
According to the Global Hypnosis Summit.
I was robbed.
So much.
I'm going to write them a stiff letter.
You said stiff. There's so much smoke and mirrors in this industry, everybody, and believe me, everybody, I don't think I'm the Stage Hypnotist of the Year, but hey, if somebody tells you are, use it.
You are,
okay?
Absolutely. Yeah. Get t-shirts done. Get plaques done. Get everything done.
Shirts done. Exactly. They want to send me an award. I'm like, absolutely, I'll be posing with it. I know all these other stage hypnotists are rolling their eyes. I'm like, I don't care. You're not my
Exactly.
customer.
I mean, use it. It's social. Here's the thing: it's the weird thing, and I kind of understand like the UK's #1, the world's fastest, all of this stuff. It's social proof. The
It is.
problem with
Yeah.
this stuff is it's when hypnotists believe it. So,
Right.
I mean, I say I'm the UK's #1 because I'm the UK's
Right.
#1.
Right.
But it's about social proof. The person I'm trying to hypnotize with that tagline isn't another hypnotist. I'm
Right.
all for building up
Exactly.
other hypnotists. It's about the audience members when that is going out there. It's for the audience. It's like when we say you can't make someone do something under hypnosis that they wouldn't normally do. We say that to volunteers because we want
Right.
them to go, oh, I'm going to get up on stage. Whether
Mhm.
that's true or not depends on your belief system. But, it's a lot of that stuff is said in order to convince volunteers to come up on stage. But then hypnotists start to believe some of that stuff. And I think
Right.
that's where we get the problems.
Yeah, and I mean, to your point, people like I love Sean Michael Andrews because he says,
Yeah.
I'm the world's fastest hypnotist. At least I've got the domain name. That's really what he's talking about.
Yeah.
And I always tell my students, like I'm teaching at Hypnothoughts coming up, and then we're both going to be at the Michigan conference. High five.
Yes. Any conference that is in a town called Gaylord, I am
Right.
there.
I mean, you kind of had to be, right? I mean,
I had to be. Do you know what I mean?
well, the red carpet for you and everything.
Pink carpet, pink and purple carpet.
Pink and purple.
Do you know what? It's weird because like Hypno Thoughts, every year it kind of captures me and then doesn't capture me, and then it's been a series of stuff, and now I've got some contracts with some great venues where I'm doing shows every week over the summer season, so I can't get to Hypno Thoughts again this year. But I really like some of the more independent conferences as well. We've both just done Heartlands, which was a great experience. I got to hire a big hillbilly truck and pretend I was a redneck, which was awesome. And again, the Michigan conference just looks like it's going to be loads of fun, and it's one of those where you can do a talk and then you can talk to somebody that's just been doing a talk. Your access to the presenters and the trainers and everything around is absolutely amazing.
I agree. I had such a wonderful experience at Heartland, and I love, I love them all for different reasons.
Yeah.
Heartland, it just felt everyone's more accessible. Like we're standing outside. I mean, we sat down and talked with the Ellmans. I mean, they're world famous, right? I mean, Larry and Cheryl Ellman, who the lineage of the Dave Ellman induction. So kind of amazing. And it could have happened at Hypnothoughts too, because every presenter I've ever talked to is always cool, but you just don't have the access as much. People, there's a lot more mingling at a smaller conference. But one of the things that I always like to tell my students is, look, I never lie in my marketing, but I exaggerate and I use everything that I can, and I get rid of anything that I don't want. So I'm not going to show, if somebody writes me a bad review, I'm not going to highlight it. You don't have to do that, but use everything you can. If you're elected to the Stage Hypnotist of the Year, by God, own it.
If somebody said it, then you can use it, and it's all assets. Whenever we do a show, whenever we stand up on stage, whenever we do anything, we're doing it for either cash or for assets. So do you know what I mean? I'm either getting a fee for it, or I'm getting some photos that I can use, or I'm getting some video footage or a testimonial. Everything we're doing, we're getting assets that all build our portfolio of stuff that makes it easier for us to make more money as we go forward. But making money and delivering value, that's what it's about.
Absolutely. I got to tell you too, this is one of the things that is kind of an interesting idea that I had, because people will talk about some of the kind of famous folks in our business. People like they'll be on like the Today Show and things like this, or just different TV shows, and people are like, oh, their hypnosis sucked or whatever. But they're the one that's actually on TV. So, the general public doesn't know that. So they don't really care what you're thinking as a hypnotist. The other thing too is I think that actually when you become when you get into a position like that, where you get more notoriety, you get more in the public eye, you get more opportunities to perform or do whatever. So you automatically get better because you're doing it more often.
Yeah.
So don't be afraid to get your info out there.
One of the things, again, coming out of the pandemic that I've learned is it's about, and again, I'm going back to the gym thing. It's only because I joined the gym last week. So like I think I'm a fitness model now.
Influencer, yeah.
Oh, yeah,
My
exactly.
goal.
Yeah. It's if you got bad form, if you're lifting weights badly, you know, you're not doing yourself any justice. And that's the thing with stage shows. I was so proud of being a road warrior. I'm like, I do 60,000 miles a year in my car. I'm up and down the country. I am non-stop. That's not healthy. You know, and I'll take any, if I'm not working, I'll take that job. Yeah, I'll take that job. I'll take that job. Now it's like, well, why? Why would I take a job that one, yeah, they might have budget, but it's not going to be good for my ego, my mental health. It's not going to be a good quality show. It's not good form. Sometimes it's good to go, do you know what? Leave that show for someone that's learning their craft, because they've got to have those bad shows where it's terrible. You as an established performer don't necessarily need to do that. So, and that took me a long time to learn that doing better quality shows helps raise your show up exponentially. You know, when you start doing big theaters with lighting and production people, it changes your show and it raises it up so much more. And you only learn that by doing that. Otherwise, you get stuck doing the low ball shows for years, which I was always happy to do those as well, because do you know what? Somebody at that show might be able to see me and they might book me for a big corporate gig. It's like, no, they won't. You know, they're not. Don't worry, I've had some great corporate gigs on the back of stuff like that. But the reality is, if they're looking to book for Tesla for their Christmas party, they're not in the dive bar down the road going, this guy works in a dive bar. He's going to be brilliant for our corporate do at Tesla. So, yeah, I think you've got to grow and evolve constantly.
You know, I came to that. I finally talked to a headliner friend of mine, comic, and we talked about this thing because, so like you can do a bar gig here for $200 or $300, which is probably, I don't know what it's, that's probably a lot less in England, pounds wise.
Quick
but,
maths.
Right. Yes. Whatever.
I think £300 is about £200.
Yeah. So, and look, that's a great amount of money to get for an hour's worth of work. There's not really an hour's worth of work. There's a lot more into it. But anyway, but I mean, it's not bad for a day's pay. It's not terrible. But you got to think about what your time could be spent on. Could it be making your show better? Could it be improving your marketing? Could it be doing live streaming like Grant's doing now with Amazon and these different platforms where you can make you get those alternative sources of income? I mean, I love what you said about becoming a businessman first. And maybe hypnotist second.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing. I think a lot of people want to be the world's best hypnotist. What's the slickest way that I can do an induction that's going to work every time? Doesn't matter. My success is not based on skill. It's my. Joey, thank God. There's loads of better hypnotists out there than me. My success is based on consistency and being persistent. If I've got a booker that books me once every 3 years, that's it, once every 3 years. If I've only been in the business for 2 years, they'll do one show. That's it. After a while, those bookers that only book every 1 or 2 or 3 years, they just build up. And then you get to a point where you're like, oh, my diary is fairly full now from these regular once every couple of year shows. And that's how you build it up. It's not about being the world's best. It's not about saying, don't book this guy, book me. It's definitely not about, and we do see a lot of this in this industry, the whole fake it till you make it. You know, that is my absolutely biggest bugbear. And at the same time, I think it's amazing that I have seen people in this industry. You know,
I want names.
I'll happily give names. No, I've seen people in the industry where like I have a couple of venues that I do in season. I'm doing every week, and every week they're getting emails from other stage hypnotists, guys that say they're my friends, contacting them trying to poach that show. And it's like, dude, like, do you not think I'm not going to know? The reason why I get that gig every week in season for the last 10 years is because I do a good show and I make sure I am the best friend of that venue booker. You know, christenings, birthdays, any types of celebration, you want to make sure you're there to look after them. Don't steal other people's work. Create your own work. Put in your own legwork. And don't stand on stage and be an expert until you've at least become an expert.
or at least close to an expert before you jump.
Yeah, at least have touched the shoulder of an expert.
Right, exactly. I got to tell you, it's so frustrating when, you see these stage hypnotists and they're all fighting over the same crumbs when you could be opening up new adventures, new venues, Here's the thing too. Here's the thing, like I had somebody email a comedy club after I'd done it and said, oh yeah, Jim sucked. He did this and this and this. And they didn't know that the comedy club owner was actually my friend and had seen the show and was like, you're full of crap. And I would never hire you because you're like this. But if you think about it, there's like a show, there's how many comedy shows are going on at night? How many music shows are going on at a night? You just open up a new venue. You don't have to fight over those same venues. So many, look at new opportunities. Don't try to steal other people's stuff. That's just so lame. Oh, it's just embarrassing. I'm embarrassed for you people that do that.
It's weird because like it's all about building relationships with people. I know within a 20-mile radius of where I live here, there's at least within 20 miles, let's say 100 venues that have corporate events, that have works conferences, works parties, training days, all of those things. I want to make sure that the event booker at the conference and hospitality manager has got my details, because what they get approached with is they get someone that has not been doing this job long, and their boss has told them, right, you're in charge of sorting out the entertainment or whatever it is for this conference or training that we're putting on in Leeds. So they go to the venue, the hotel, and they go, right, this is how much it is for teas and coffees. This is how much it's going to be for lunch. This is what it is. On a nighttime, what you're going to do. And then it's not like they say to the hotel on the nighttime, this is the stuff we're going to do for entertainment. A lot of the times they'll say to the conference and hospitality booker, what would you suggest? And they'll go, well, we can put you on a DJ if you want, or if you want, we've got this singer, this walkabout magician, we've got this. I want to make sure that my stuff is in with that. So they can go, oh, we've got this, or we've got this hypnosis show as well. And then they go, oh, and then that's how you get a booking. That's not trying to steal work. That's not going to a comedy store. It's not going to a bar. It's just having advocates out there that are working for your business. They're helping their clients. You're helping them.
Yeah, and I love what you said too. You are helping them because now you've just saved them having to go find a hypnotist. If somebody wants a hypnotist or entertainment, you've saved them a lot of time, and people love to save time. I want to say something. So Jason, yes, surprise shows are awful. Try not to ever do surprise shows. Natasha, oh yes, I didn't see that. I saw there was something about that. That seems scary. I didn't know that's exactly what was happening, but okay.
I saw that. Some guy was like shot putting bowling balls down the thing, which is interesting.
I don't know that the venue is going to be happy about that. Pay your stage hypnosis insurance, everybody, because you may need it. I don't know how much a bowling alley costs, the alley that it runs down. Oh yes, a first show, worst show, best show video. Oh, I love that. Save that, Natasha. Will you message me that so I don't forget? That is a great challenge. I love that. Yeah. Let's see what Jeff has to say. That makes us grow. Yes, indeed. I want to tell you. So some of you, I don't actually see some of your names. So if I don't say who you are, I apologize. Blasting clays with shotgun to clear your head. I still haven't shot my shotgun.
You haven't?
Man, I bought it like 2 years ago.
Wow.
It's still sitting in my closet. Brian, if you're watching, we have to go out and do that. I'm just waiting for a bad guy to break in. I'm going to practice on him. Kidding. Oh, please don't. Oh, now I'm going to be in trouble. Kidding. Cut this out.
You want to practice before the bad guy comes in.
I've got my rape whistle and pepper spray. So
if you make it to the UK, which you will do at some point, let me take you out. I always joke that between us, I'm the gun nut. So I think I've got it 14 at the moment. So
good Lord. I've got one. I got my shotgun ready for civil unrest, people. Yeah. And a great big bottle of pepper spray and fighting skills. So wow, Jason, I would love to hear more about that. Because I've always found most of the time, except grad night parties, surprise shows can be a little bit challenging. So, but I mean, you're a pro at this. So You probably have that all wrapped up on how to handle that kind of a thing. I don't know what that was referring to. Colin, wasn't able to watch the whole show live. You'll watch the replay later. Good. You'll hear more about you.
Yeah.
Confidence is the most attractive. You know what? That's so true. You know what, guys? If you're out there, young guys especially, I got to tell you, just being confident will get you. You'll get lots of people to like you. Really, men and women will find you more attractive.
And this is where I think we have a big issue for our young men at the moment. Not just young men, all guys at the moment now. There's been a big movement for years of kind of, toxic masculinity. I'm a big advocate for this now, especially like men's mental health is such a buzzword, but there's nothing wrong in men being masculine. This came. Do you know what this started, Jim? This started at the Heartland from a conversation we were having with somebody. Right. There's nothing wrong in men being masculine. I think some of the problems we're having in the world at the moment now is because of that mix up of feminine and masculine energy. Boys and men are being told that they have to be feminine in their energy, not in their ways, in their energy. There's nothing wrong in masculine energy. We have lizard brains back there. We are who we are. And when that just causes confusion for a lot of young men, a lot of guys our age struggle with this, which is why male suicide is as high as it is, because we're told that the feelings that we feel are somehow not valid. So hashtag he too.
He too. Couldn't agree more. You know what I mean? We get so many mixed messages. And as I told you a story about a mixed message that I had gotten about, this being masculine, but not being too masculine and all these things, don't hit your spouse. Don't go start fights with people, but you can be masculine without doing that.
Yes.
Grant being the one getting interviewed. Yes. I like that too. It's awesome to have him on. I feel like we could do like 10 or 12 episodes with Grant. Hardcore parkour. Yes. Hardcore parkour. I haven't done any hardcore parkour in so long because I've gotten a little bit out of shape because of the COVID and my addiction to potato chips, but maybe hypnosis could help. I want to hear about that story. Colin, let's see. Grant is doing grad trad shows now. Yes.
Sure.
And anything is possible. It's all about mindset. Grant, I want to team up with you on doing some stuff, man. We got to do some stuff together.
Yeah.
Unless he shows a suspicious amount of women's shoes. I don't know what that means.
Have you ever noticed he knows? Oh, do you know what? Yeah. That is weird, but no, it's. Do you know what it is? I like the nice things in life, and do you know what? It boils down to from the background that I have, from coming from a poor background, from being from the streets, from Manchester, and all that crap. As I've got older, it makes me appreciate the finer things. I like the shoes I wear on stage. My shoes are Yves and Gray, Italian leather, made in London. It's a trigger for me when I put those shoes on. I'm getting into my stage persona. So I'm a big fan of, like high value brands and the perception that they kind of give. So Christian Louboutin shoes, I love any type of thing like that because I think it's a badge that you wear to kind of go, I'm special.
You know what? I got to tell you, you really epitomize style when it comes to hypnotists. I can't.
If somebody can record that and just send me that clip.
Right,
That's going to my next. That's going to my next poster. You epitomize style. Thank you very much.
I'll get you a certificate and everything. You can display awesome. That. Really, from your branding is on time, and and I'm still working. I bought these lights. I'm trying to do some light stuff, and it just sucks. I bought the wrong ones. I'm going to look at. You got to send me your link to your affiliate link for whatever. I looked on them. Never mind. That's beyond the point. I'm trying to find what Grant uses because guys, follow this guy. He's doing it all right. He's got such a powerful brand. You look at his branding, it's him. Really, everything from the monkey to the purple to everything. And I do mean an actual monkey, not what you might be thinking. Yes, a monkey, right? The purple monkey. Jeff says you had a paid rehearsal. Okay, so we have to move on. We have to talk about funny bits.
Yes.
My mentor and uploader, Grant. I don't know what an uploader is, but okay. Well, Queen's English. Offload to know you always kick your. Okay. Natasha's awesome. I did for him at the start of the pandemic. Yes. Great. And no, I'm not using. So Matt asks about I'm actually using wave.video. I bought a lifetime membership on AppSumo a while back. I hadn't used the streaming. I'm really digging it. I paid like $50 and I've got some really cool features that I'd have to pay monthly for these other ones. I have used StreamYard before. Grant uses Be Live. I wish here's the thing that I love about Grant too, is he's been you talked about consistent. And we talked about this too. I was doing this stuff before Grant was. I was doing the videos and stuff. And then it's like he started doing them and I quit. I don't know. And now all kinds of awesome things are happening for him. And I'm going, stupid.
And that's exactly what I was saying. It's consistency. Just consistency in every stream, trying to get. I mean, I look at like our first stream. It was Jason Morgan kind of started me off with this. I think you were my first proper guest after Jason on this. And I look back at those now, and it's learning, it's seeing. Sometimes it's knowing that you're shit, but knowing that you're gonna get better, and then doing that. And I've been lucky that I was consistent. And sometimes it's hard. I wrote off my Range Rover. It took me 14 hours to get home. And I arrived here at the unit at 7 p.m. and I had my Sunday sessions live stream start at 7:30 p.m. I had every excuse to not go live. I'd not slept in 24 hours, but still put it out there and still do it. Because it becomes part of the story. It becomes part of the resources. Consistency is key.
I got to tell you, I had the same experience this last Friday. It was everything. I had a terrible week. The car broke down. I had to get a new car and all this BS. And Friday, I'm like, I could just cancel this. And I said, no, I got to show up. Great books. Atomic Habits is like the best. Oh, I love Jordan Peterson's work. And I'm sorry if you're one of those people that's offended by Jordan or Joe Rogan or Elon Musk. But I tell you, they're saying things that you really need to hear. That's
absolutely.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And I think the people that are most resistant to it are the people that need it the most. They really are.
But they're people that they believe the message that they're telling themselves, what they're saying. They're not listening to what's being communicated. If we're talking about great books, a book that I've just finished now is called Soundtracks. If you're an overthinker, Soundtracks is a brilliant book. Highly, highly, highly recommend it. Love that book.
Nice. Somebody put the what's it called again? Sound what?
Soundtracks.
It is by Grant. Okay. Oh my God, I can't believe we're already at almost an hour and a half. Tell me. Okay, so tell us about funny bits. Tell us about funny bits.
Funny bits started off as a way of me kind of waffling and expressing on, but it was a way of kind of reaching out to other stage hypnotists and us talking about, what got us into the profession, what challenges we've faced along the way, and where do we think it's going to go. But I'll be honest, it started almost as like a therapy session. I spoke about it quite openly. At the beginning of the pandemic, I had a very expensive lifestyle because I thought I was successful. The pandemic happened. All of my shows went out the window. My whole sense of identity went out the window. I went into a very dark place. I got a phone call from Jason Nobby Morgan, and I thought, I'll answer it, so what? He just said, yeah, I know. And he said, let's do a live stream and talk about stage hypnosis. And it was the closest I found to that feeling when you go on stage, because the joys of going live is anything can happen. And you get that kind of excitement from that. And it was great to reach out and connect with so many other great professionals within the industry. And it was great for us all to come together and go, oh, do you know what? Yeah, I've had that experience. Those things have happened to me. And it's for me, it was very cathartic to kind of get some stuff out. And it seemed like it worked well for some other people to get some stuff out. And don't get me wrong, some people sell some training along the way, but that's okay. That's what it's about. At the end of the day, we are all business people. We're all trying to share our value. But if they can share a story at the same time as that, then, I'm happy, as long as it doesn't become a massive, giant sales pitch.
Well, the thing too is, and if you're going to HypnoThoughts, take my Marketing Fearlessly class. Well, just in a nutshell, I'll tell you right away. Don't be afraid of selling something if you think it's going to help someone, because I really feel like if you can help people, and you're not, I mean, you have an obligation. If you have the, I'm sorry,
Yep.
my wife is calling me. If so don't feel bad about selling something. If you really think you can help people, absolutely sell something. If it's going to help them, absolutely.
Yeah. It's what's the saying? People like to buy, but people don't like to be sold to. And I think if you've got something of
Exactly.
value and you put it there and go, this is this thing, this will help you, you are doing them a disservice if you don't do that.
Oh, you are, absolutely. It took me a long time to get that, where I would feel salesy and stuff. But I tell you, as soon as I switch my way of thinking, whether
Yeah.
it's when I'm working on a hypnotherapy client or on a stage show, if I go, I really do feel like I'm the best fit for this person or this gig,
Yeah.
then it is my duty to do. And if you
Yeah.
got to use NLP techniques, you've got to use selling techniques, and stop calling. I mean, I know we call it a consultation call and stuff. It's a sales call.
Yeah.
Um, ultimately it is, and if you need to learn some sales or NLP to get better at moving your merchandise or whatever, do it, because again, you have an obligation. You really do have an obligation.
There's this, especially in the therapy communities, there's this fear of money, like money is evil, money is evil, money is bad.
Exactly.
Right? It's like, no, money is a great energy that enables you to do amazing, good things for people. You can do more good in the world with $1 billion than what you can with $5.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. And have you ever read Wallace D. Wattles' The Science of Getting Rich?
Yes. Have I got it here? Have I got it here? No, I've not.
Oh, awesome.
I've got Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich here, but yes, The Science of Getting Rich is a great book.
Yeah, and if you haven't read this book, everybody, and it's actually available, you can get it for free. Even you can like this. So there's an audiobook on LibriVox. Just go check out LibriVox. You can just listen to it for free if you want, or probably it's on YouTube. One of the things I love about this book is he says, we have this idea that money is evil and it's bad and it's disgusting and everything. He says you can't live your best life without money, and I truly, absolutely believe that. Whether it's healthcare, being able to buy a gift for your family, being able to fly to a wedding that's across the country, all these things, you can still be happy. I'm not saying you can't be happy, but you will not have the kind of life that you can have if you have money.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's again, it's we're educating our young people wrong about all this lot. It is, it is about that energy. Money is an energy that you can exchange for some really great things.
And that helped me too, is when I think about it as energy, like when my car breaks down and I'm like, oh, that sucks. For me, for the mechanic, it's a great thing. Right. And so, I mean, the mechanic doesn't want to come to me to quit smoking. He'd rather not have to spend the money to do that. Tesla would rather not hire me to come and do a comedy hypnosis show for them. They'd rather save their money for something else. But it all is just energy, and it's just flowing. So, put it out. Don't be sad don't be too sad and everything when you're putting it out, and just be grateful that you have the opportunity to pay those bills. Grant, 2 years. I got to tell you, one of the things that I found really interesting is I know that you must have interviewed people, invited people on your show you don't necessarily agree with, maybe you don't even like. We want names. No. What was that like for you? I mean, you kind of have to rise above your ego, some of your feelings, to be able to do that.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird because there was a couple of people that traditionally had quite actively gone out their way to stop me getting work and saying bad things about me behind my back. But about this stuff when people say stuff. But on the other side, again, it's about giving value. So it's like, especially in the hypnosis community, there isn't like an old boys club where everybody's slapping each other's back saying that's amazing. For Funny Bits to do what it's supposed to do, for me, it's about getting on the right people that have something to share. Whether they like me or not, it doesn't really matter. If they're going to deliver value to the audience, which makes me sound really nice, it's not. It is about numbers. It's about getting the right people on that are going to deliver value, so that ultimately they're going to hopefully come back and subscribe. But
there was twice, by the way, everybody. So
yeah. There was a guest who I was really nervous about having on because he was a very, very outspoken hypnotist. And I know he definitely said stuff about me. But you know what? After he came on, such a great guest, such a nice person. And then you kind of go, actually, by doing that, maybe it built a bit of a bridge. I'm never going to let him look after my cat, but it built a bridge a little bit. And that's what it's about. Don't worry, we can all fight over all sorts of different techniques and who did what first and who's doing, whatever at the moment. But at the end of the day, it's, for me, like Grant talked about, it is my baby. And I do love like people's ability to go beyond the ego in stage hypnosis and talk about, this is what went wrong for me. This is what got me into stage hypnosis. And this is where I think it's going to go forward. And it's amazing that after 2 years, every guest still has some like amazing golden nugget of something that you go, God, what a genius. Of course. So, yeah.
Said the name of your show wrong before. It's Grant Talks Funny Bits. Good stuff. I mean, I don't know that I could have talked to some of the people I don't like in the industry. Some of the ones I really don't like. I've told you. Anyway. So yeah, Natasha, really, that's so awesome that you've really jumped into to all this cool, groovy stuff. All right, so I want to do a couple of things. So we still have a Grant on his show. Always does a golden nugget and a book. And so we're going to get those from Grant. We're also going to play Friend or Frenemy. We're still going to play that. We've got just a few minutes left. Well, I mean, we've already gone way over. We're going to be wrapping up soon, everybody. I promise. I feel like we should just have a couple of pints and just keep going for a couple hours.
That's it.
3 tips for living a more awesome life. And of course, that's it. Okay. So Grant, do you have a golden nugget that you'd like to share with us? And let's make maybe about a state. If you could keep it about stage hypnosis, because I'll bring you back for the awesome tips too.
Golden nuggets of stage hypnosis, I would say, has to be try and be remarkable in whatever way that is, whether it be find a color purple, a purple monkey or something like that. Try and do something so that when somebody sees you and then sees another hypnotist, they can go, oh, there was a guy here before and he had loads of purple stuff. And that's that. It's so easy for us all to be put into the same box.
Yeah, true.
So just try and do something that makes you stand out. Don't matter what technique you're using, don't matter what, do you know what I mean? Have something that makes you stand out a little bit. And I think you do that, you'll always be remembered, and you can be, oh, that was the hypnotist that had the purple jacket. I know what you mean. So yeah, be remarkable.
Something I'm working on. And I'll tell you, it's funny because when you do a hypnosis show and they'll say, oh, I saw a hypnotist over at the fair over there, whatever. You say, oh, do you remember who it was? No. So, but if you're remarkable, if they could say, oh, the guy that was, it was a purple monkey. There it is. Grant Saunders. Exactly. So they know who to call. Personally, I just have them I say my name a lot during my show. So There we go. I love this. So Natasha, I just joined, Paul. I didn't know about it until just recently because I saw you comment on something, Natasha. So thank you. I've joined the group. I've not been in it yet, but I've gotten the emails.
It is fantastic. It's Paul's mastermind. Again,
he's such a cool guy.
Really giving back into the industry as well. I love Paul.
Yeah, such a cool guy. He's got a great haircut too.
Yeah, he copied it off you.
Right, probably. And a book. What's a book that everybody should read, whether it's hypnosis or otherwise? Or is it hypnosis?
I would say the book that I've just said then about soundtracks for overthinkers is a great way, a great book that gives you some techniques to get around that as well. But again, Jordan Peterson's 12 Rules to Life. If you are a male, I think that's an awesome book. That again, when he talks about the lobsters, I think that is some really great stuff in there. So yeah, Jordan Peterson's 12 Rules to Life, or Beyond Order as well, his second book. But definitely, if you're an overthinker or you've got anxiety, I would definitely say Soundtracks, a great book.
Yeah. Again, I just want to say again, I know that Jordan Peterson gets a lot of grief, but I mean, try to separate what the media says about him and what some folks say about him, and just take in the information. It is really good information. I read his book too. It's a little dense, so it takes a little while sometimes to get through it. But if you need to, just go look at the concepts. Go look up the 12 concepts or whatever. Yeah. It's really, really good stuff. And like you said, especially for young men, really, or even young-ish men like Grant and I. Yeah. I'm 35. I'm 38. As you all know. So, Grant, It's time for probably the most important part of the show, and then I'm going to let you go get back to your purple work. Pineapple pizza. It's time for friend or frenemy, everybody. I want to know. I want to know, Grant. Everybody who watches this show, everybody who knows me, knows how I feel about pineapple pizza. It is the devil's work. And it's time we find out, Grant. Are you my friend? Are you my frenemy? Do you like pineapple pizza, Grant Saunders?
I'm a bit partial to a bit of pineapple, to be fair. But I don't think I've had pineapple on pizza for a very, very, very long time. I don't like the moisture that it puts onto a pizza. My pizza of choice has to be bolognese. I like a chin dribbler.
Chin dribbler. Okay, that sounds bad. Anyway, the bolognese. Or good.
I love a chin dribbler, Jim.
I don't want to make judgments. Everybody's good. Oh, man, I can't get this thing to cheer. Okay. Anyways. All right. So sort of a half.
Actually, going back to what we just said then about being remarkable. If I see anything to do with pineapple on pizza or pineapple or pizza or bacon online, you are the first person that comes to mind. And that's exactly what I mean. Be remarkable. You know, pineapple pizza is a massive thing, but when it's mentioned online, my brain goes straight to you.
Marketing. I love it. You know what? And you're not the only one, because I get so many people. I will get, if there's a new meme out, they will post. I'll get 3 or 4 people in a day posting it to my timeline.
Yeah.
So that's one thing that I've done good is I do. People will send me bacon stuff and pineapple pizza stuff all the time. So I just have to start a brand of bacon and do something with pizza. But yeah, do something that's going to make people remember you. And, you know, and this is what I always tell people too, is make a stand. Take a stand on something. It doesn't have to be controversial or political, but take a stand. And pineapple pizza is something we can all have fun with, even though I hate those people that like it. Except present company excluded, of course. So, and I know probably if Colin's watching, he's a big pineapple pizza sympathizer.
He looks the salt. He looks the salt. Well, we're not here to judge.
Please comment your are you my friend or frenemy down below. I know, Natasha, I was just as I was just as shocked as you were. 3 tips for living a more awesome life.
To live in an awesome life, do no harm to others.
That's a good one.
Yeah. Do you know what? Don't work too hard. There's no glory in being a martyr for working 90 hours a week. Set aside time for work, time for rest. And the third one is be the show. Be awesome. Be the show. Dress up. Turn up. When you walk into a room, make sure when you leave that room, they remember who you are. Be the show. And
you know what? The be the show can be in your everyday life too. You don't have to be a performer to be the show.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when you walk out of
there's something about dressing up. You know, I can tell where my mental state is by what I'm wearing. If I'm really casual and I don't want to be noticed, or my mood can change, just like putting on a good song, by putting on a good pair of shoes, a nice pair of jeans, a jacket, and you just feel differently. It changes your physiology. Putting on a jacket, it brings your shoulders back, you stand better, your chest is open, you know, you change your physiology, you change your psychology.
Absolutely. I remember the first time I put on a suit, and I just felt like a badass. I was like, wow, I was like 22 or something. And I'm like, wow, it was amazing. Yeah. So what you wear can really make a big difference. Grant, it has been so awesome. It looks like we have 1 viewer left, Natasha, I think. We went far longer than I intended to.
Yeah. We need one of those shepherd's crooks, like
exactly.
Like a trapdoor and a big red button.
Might have to break this one up into 3 episodes and share it that way or something. We got 7 over on Facebook. Fantastic. We're blowing up. So, hey, everybody, thank you so much for watching. Please share this, like it, love it, whatever. Grant, again, go follow his stuff. Grant Saunders. Go follow his, he's doing live streaming on Amazon. He talks about some really cool products. Check out Funny Bits. What else is going on for you, Grant? What else should people do? You got a book? You got an app? You got anything? Training?
Book and online training is my next thing. So I'm going to be doing a thing for live streaming for hypnotherapists, which I think is so important because there's so many people that are now live streaming, you know, and not doing it the best way that they could possibly do it. So yeah.
You know what? And I watched one of ththose episodes, and it was great. I got some tips out of it right away because again, Grant is doing it right. I mean, look at this; it's amazing. He's doing, and there's so many. I mean, and mine sucks. I'll be honest, mine sucks. But I've seen some, and I'm still seeing this kind of a thing where people are like, "Hey, I'm Jim. I'm a hypnotist. I want to help you. What are you doing, guys? Come on, you can see. Can't you see? I don't know. Maybe they're doing other. Anyway, yeah, make it look good because here's the thing. You want to put your best foot forward. Number one, people aren't going to watch if you're boring. And number two, this is the way I always think about it is you don't have to pretend anything, but you really do have to shine things up because nobody that's above your level, too far above your level is going to hire you for anything, whether it's hypnotherapy or a stage show. They want people that are on the same level or at least close to it.
Yeah, absolutely. And you've got to, you know, if you are a professional, you've got to kind of look professional. You know, it's people's expectation, especially in hypnosis, expectation and belief. I want them, it's all about eyeballs. If someone's scrolling through Facebook or YouTube or Amazon Live, I want them to see my stream and go, oh, this looks good. He must be good. And so you're one step closer. You've overcome a massive hurdle. If you look professional, you sound professional, they're going to believe that you're professional. If you're live streaming on your iPhone in a car park, you know, there's a chance how they're going to go, oh, well, that's not the same as the guy we saw the other day. So, you know.
Right. Yeah. All about perception, everybody. Grant, thank you so much for being on. Thanks, everybody who watched.
This marathon.
Marathon. I know exactly. We could keep going, but we're going to cut it off. My wife bought me pho. That's what she was texting me to tell me. She bought me some pho, so I'm going to go eat that. Thank you so much, everybody. I'll see you next week. Take care. Be well. Be awesome.